Hello, my name is Nguyen from Voice of Vietnam, and we are here in Hanoi for special collaboration between the Voice of Vietnam and ABC International to celebrate the 14th anniversary of Vietnam and Australia diplomatic relations. Over the course of this special, we will explore some links between Vietnam and Australia in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City and find out why the anniversary is so important.
My name is Nguyen and I'm from Vietnam. I'm working as a Japanese interpreter right now, and I'm also operating a charity group called Warmth, and it's called in Vietnam in The idea for the whole thing just started when, there's a lot of people that need our help. And somehow I feel like the homeless people are the type of people that need the most help that I've been seeing, because they have nothing. They don't even have a house or a roof over their head. So a lot of them that I met and I talked to them, they don't even have enough food, and they suffer every day to make their life easier. When I was in Australia, I went there to study fashion designing, because that's one of my dreams I want to achieve in my entire life. So yeah, I went there and I entered a short course in Sydney Community College. Everybody knows about Australia like a place that have a lot of cultures living inside. So maybe, when I first thought about go studying abroad, I love traveling. I've been to a lot of countries, but I thought like I should go to Australia because that's a mix of every country. So when I came there, I don't feel lost. When I was in Australia, I was really like amazed by the Salvation Army. When I first came there, I was like, oh, this is amazing. We can purchase a lot of good things and still usable and in a very reasonable price, and the money from that can be donated to the homeless people. I would love to build up something like that in Vietnam too, but for now we cannot do that normally and easily. So we actually trying to do things to raise up the idea for people about homeless people, like how they live and how they're suffering in their lives. So maybe people can be like, oh, maybe I can help, maybe I can do something for them. The link between our countries, just like the link between people. So maybe we should talk to each other more, we should love each other more, we should care about each other more. That's the same link that I am trying to make here in Vietnam between the normal people and the homeless people. Every time you get to do something good for people, it's the best feeling ever. And I cannot count how many memories I have, like seeing the smile in homeless child and some older people, and they feel like they're thankful for how we are working for them and how we care for them. When you don't have a home, you don't have a family, and just some stranger show their love and care for them, it's the best feeling ever. So I think that's the best memory and the best feeling that I can have, and I get to have that. I have the chance to get the feeling like that every time I go with my charity group.
Australia and Vietnam really have a much longer history than a lot of people initially realise. But this year we're commemorating really the 40th anniversary of relations with the modern state of Vietnam. Well, Australia and Vietnam relations really are growing very well across a whole range of fields. The extent of the relationship is often surprising to people. Certainly education remains at its core very strong, 20,000 odd Vietnamese students in Australia, some 20,000 studying here. Our agricultural assistance remains very strong, our aid program is very strong. I think the significance of the anniversary is a chance to look back at where we've come over 40 years, and that's a long way to a very solid relationship that's growing across a number of fronts, and to look forward to where the relationship might go in future.
KOTO is an acronym for No One Teach One. Basically, it's an empowerment and holistic training program for street and disadvantaged youth aged between 16 to 22. Getting them through an amazing 2-year life transformation journey. At the end, getting them a job and sustaining it. But what makes it more unique, and the social enterprise side of it, is that we train the next round of leaders for them to continue the program and teach others how to fish as well. It consists of life skills, English training, and vocational training, hospitality, which is accredited through our own Australian Box Hill Institute. Mr. Vu is class 7. Vu, hello mọi người.
Hello.
So class 7 is, they're starting, so they're red, means that you're not going anywhere, buddy. We're staying put. So they just started. In my wildest dream, I would never expect I'm living a dream right now. I was raised in Australia. My background is tourism. I came back to Vietnam in 1996 on a work assignment. And upon completion, I went for a walk and accidentally met 4 street kids that were selling coconuts. That night has changed my life. What I saw was poverty, was youth lack of education, low self-esteem. Kids were quite raggedy, and I befriended them and I took them out for a bowl of traditional Vietnamese noodle soup called pho. And that over time, that friendship grew from 4 kids to 60 kids that I took out to dinner. And then that one night, I sat there on a street pavement and thought, I'm about to go home. And I had 2 choices. I could go home and say that was tragic and I want to send some money back to an NGO, or I can do something about it. And I decided I'm going to do something about it. And the rest was history. When I first came over to Vietnam 4 months later, the setup of the KOTO wasn't even a seed in my head. It was just someone who wants to make a difference and wants to help. And everywhere I go, I would feed, clothe, shelter, and educate kids that I see that needed my help. After 4 years or so, and thinking that you know it all, those kids that told me that I didn't know anything, because basically what I was doing wasn't helping them at all. They needed more, they needed a job. So the KOTO concept was very simple. I knew then that they needed skills that would enable them to have a future. This is Miss Tung. Miss Tung is also class 18, and she graduated as well, and now she's a staff here. In Hanoi, we've up to class 23 now, and the average class per class is 25 to 30 students. Here we have 7 classes in Ho Chi Minh. So if you add that up, it's about 30 classes. On average, it's about 225 to 30. So you're looking at about 700 kids. Out of that comes about 500 graduated and into jobs. And what makes it so unique about this is that long after they leave the program, when they get married, they have their families, they have their first kid, and they share with you. They invite you and they want you to be a part of their extended family as well. So, and I think that makes it so special about this place. He just had his graduation in May of this year, but he finished actually about the beginning of the year. I think what's really more than anything, if you ask these kids, was it the international accreditation, was it the nice restaurants or whatever that makes your whole journey at KOTO so special. And a lot of them, with my hands on my heart, will tell you it is a family was the one that stands out the most, and it's the most incredible journey of self-discovery, of confidence building, of instilled values, all the things that what life was meant to be, and this is what Koto is.
There are many links between Vietnam and Australia in Vietnam, but what do Vietnamese people know about Australia? We took to the streets to find out.
Chắc là tất cả các bạn cũng biết rằng là nước Úc còn có loài động vật rất là nổi tiếng và tất cả những mọi người trên thế giới cũng đều biết được, đó là loài kangaroo, đó là biểu tượng đặc trưng của nước Úc.
Theo em được biết thì là nước Úc là nước mà có nhiều học sinh Việt Nam sang du học. Nước Úc là nước nói tiếng Anh bởi là môi trường học tập đấy là tốt ạ.
Cái đất nước là đa sắc tộc và rất là thanh bình, có nhiều cái truyền thống và có những cái ưu điểm về các giáo dục đào tạo cũng như là các cái chế phẩm về dược phẩm cũng rất là nổi tiếng.
Ông có biết gì về mối quan hệ đặc biệt giữa Việt Nam và Australia đặc biệt trong năm nay ạ?
Về mối quan hệ đặc biệt giữa Việt Nam và Australia thì nói chung trong năm nay là cái đặc biệt nhất là kỷ niệm 40 năm cái ngày mà thành lập cái sự quan hệ ngoại giao giữa Việt Nam và Australia. Thì cái này tôi nghĩ rằng là chắc là cả hai nước sẽ có những cái tổ chức những cái kỷ niệm nhân dịp kỷ niệm đó.
Thưa bà biết gì về nước Australia ạ?
Tôi cũng nghiên cứu, gia đình cũng có một số các cháu nó cũng muốn đi học, thì tôi thấy là đất nước Úc cũng rất là xinh đẹp. Thứ nhất là nền giáo dục cũng tốt, thứ hai là con người Úc cũng rất là thân thiện. Đấy, cho nên là gia đình tôi cũng có những cái quan tâm như thế.
Nếu như có cơ hội thì Úc có phải là lựa chọn để các em đi du học không?
Nếu mà được thì chắc chắn không những là du học mà có thể sang đấy tham quan và hiểu thêm được về văn hóa của nước Úc và có thể là tìm kiếm một cơ hội việc làm nào đó ở bên đấy ạ. Em chắc chắn là như thế ạ. Dạ vâng.
RMIT in Vietnam started as a small English language training program, and it started in about 2001, 2002 with fewer than 50 students. We have a campus here in District 7 in Ho Chi Minh City, which is rather a traditional looking campus in terms of its layout, its grounds and so on. And we have a smaller campus in Hanoi, and it has a slightly different character to Ho Chi Minh City. The programs that we offer here are identical to the programs that are offered by RMIT. So we have programs in business, in fashion and textile merchandising, in project management, in engineering, in digital media. So we have quite a broad range of programs, and we're planning over the next few years to diversify the offerings even more than we have so far. RMIT was invited by the government to set up in Vietnam, so we were extremely fortunate to have been invited in. And we were also very fortunate to have philanthropic funding in the very early days of RMIT Vietnam, and that allowed us to start our building program. So we have been extremely fortunate and very privileged in the way in which we've been able to establish ourselves. We operate in Vietnam as a private university, and none of our funds are repatriated to Australia. We enjoy very, very positive support from the Australian government. Our current enrolment is around 4,500 students here in Ho Chi Minh City and around about 1,200 in Hanoi. And last year in November we graduated our 5,000th graduate. So that's the number of graduates that we have contributed to Vietnam in the almost 12 years that we've been here.
I came to Vietnam to live, and I was working here as a teacher in a university. But while I was teaching, I noticed a lot of street kids here in Hanoi, and at the time there were almost no services for them, especially the younger kids. they'd all come in from the countryside and were earning money on the street. And that money was to go back to support their families so their siblings could go to school. And I started teaching English to these kids just in my spare time, just after hours, sitting in the cafe by the side of the road. And it all just grew from there. One of my university students got involved, and a young man named Chung, he came along and said, well, let me help, you know, you're a foreigner and you're doing this thing in my country. How about I do this with you? And so the two of us started teaching English to street kids. And from there a football team started. We started teaching all different subjects and offering meals to street kids. And so just a very simple activity out of hours came to dominate my life. We work with about 1,550 children. Many of them are street kids, and there are also lots of kids who have been trafficked, and we have actually gone and rescued them from their places of trafficking and brought them home. And a lot of rural kids as well who live in country areas that are being targeted by human traffickers. So we have our teams of staff who come from all different backgrounds. Some of my staff used to be street kids. In fact, some were among those first street kids that I taught English to back in 2002, 2003. And we offer individual casework for the kids who come to us. So there are some kids who need help to go to school. So we have classes, we have activities here at our centre, Dragon House in Hanoi. And for each of those children, we have a different plan for how we're going to help. Since Blue Dragon started, we've helped more than 2,500 kids go to school. And there's another 1,000 or so children who we've met through our weekly soccer program. And there are hundreds more kids who we've met perhaps living on the streets of Hanoi or trafficked into China or into garment factories, and who we've gotten out and within the space of a week or two have gotten home. So we've helped in the thousands until now. And we plan to keep on going, keep on growing and helping more kids in need. Over 11 years we've had some pretty amazing things happen here. We've had kids come to us who were completely illiterate, had never held a pen in their hands, and who, with our help, were able to go to school, become literate, and then go on to get good jobs. But by far the best memories are those of finding kids who'd been trafficked, who'd been tricked into believing they were on their way to a better life and actually were being taken to be slaves in sweatshops or in brothels. And going and getting them out and seeing their faces when they realise now they have freedom. We're so lucky in Australia that we have such freedom that we take for granted. As an Australian, I come with a certain view of the world, that we can all have a fair go. And so some of those Australianisms that can even be a little bit cliched now. When you're living far from Australia, especially for a long time, you start to realise that there actually is a truth in those. In Australia, we do have an underlying sense of fairness, and we do barrack for the underdog. Well, that's what we're doing here in Vietnam. We're looking for the kids who don't have a fair go in life, who don't have the chance, who are downtrodden. We're all about them. And so when we look into Blue Dragon, we can see that there is very much an Australian spirit driving our beliefs and driving our work with the kids.
So in 1993, Vietnam opened its banking market up for foreigners to set up, and ANZ was one of the first banks, international banks, to actually set up a location here in Hanoi, followed by a location in the south in Ho Chi Minh. But the big turning point was in 2009, when the banking regulator allowed international banks to actually incorporate and almost operate as a local bank in Vietnam. At that time, ANZ explored around various countries, so we looked at Cambodia, where ANZ now has a presence, and also in Laos, where ANZ has a great presence, and started setting up a footprint around Asia. And Vietnam is very welcoming. There's great ties between Vietnam and Australia. The number of students who go and study in Australia, the trade, the political relationships as Australia celebrates 40 years of diplomatic relations. So there's an obvious connection and a very welcoming approach by the government of Vietnam for ANZ to set up a presence here. I think it's one of the biggest opportunities but also challenges for any company expanding overseas. To really understand what's needed for that market, how to behave in that market, how the customers want to be treated in that market, what works, what doesn't work. To really just sort of to pull up and set up the same model that we have in Australia or New Zealand in a country like Vietnam really wouldn't work. So you do have to make use of the good things from those markets that work well in Vietnam, but also really develop some bottom-up ideas and ways of doing things to really adapt and support the local economy.
Hello, my name is Nguyen and I'm a chef from Australia, and I get invited from the government, Australian government and Vietnamese government, because they celebrate 40 years of the bonding with the two countries together. So there's a big celebration, and they have great little fun for little children, 10 and 12, to do some like master class. Good job. Like new master class. So I'm a judge, I'm so excited. That's why I'm here. And while I'm here, and now I'm in the Koto kitchen, and I do the fundraising last night for Koto Kids. The Koto Kids, I think a lot of people in Australia know what it is. They know one, teach one. And they take the street kids in, they haven't got a home, they haven't got mom and dad, and take them in and look after them, nursing them, and we get remote. And look after them, and give them a place to live, and so that's why I'm here. So do the master class and then do fundraising for Koto, and I've been involved with Koto for 10 years. I can't wait. I feel so good to give back, because I'm so lucky that from Vietnam, I leave Vietnam 30 years ago, and with nothing, with a pair of shorts and the t-shirt, and here I am, and I now come back and tell the kids, I say, if you believe in yourself, work hard, and just dream about it, and can come true. Just like me, I don't believe this, I'm here teaching them what I know, and just touch me. It was so much. I just couldn't believe it. I'm just on a cloud nine right now. I'm so happy. I really happy tears. Happy tears, yes. I always cry. I'm just a sook. Yeah. Lemongrass. Biết lemongrass không? Cái con lửa cái lá nào mà không có lỗ á. We advertise for all the school, and we take about select about 60 kids from different schools. They cook their dish, their favorite dish, and they bring in, and I judge, and a couple other 3 people judge. And then we taste, and then we selection 14, and then they come in, then here, and I give them recipe, and they cook it again. Yesterday, amazing. I show them make the bò lá lốt. That means bitter leaves. The bitter leaf, that's really traditional Vietnamese, but got fluent with French. That's so good. I don't believe they can cook. They can cook better than me. You believe that? Yeah. Because kids sometimes they have no patience. Then sometimes they get to say, easy way out. They say, I can do this, just chuck it in. Now, I can chuck it in, but they can't chuck it in. So today they're gonna cook the recipe individual. So we're gonna taste it, test it, and then I teach them what I teach today is lamb, chảo tôm. Chảo tôm, that means sugarcane prawns. So it's gonna be a difficult job for me. One side, and then you do one side. We got the take 7 only, and then in afternoon, that 7 gonna cook off again, and then we go to only 1. I'm gonna be, oh dear, I need somebody help me to say that, oh, you're not in, because it will break my heart. If they're so beautiful. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm also honored to represent Australia and Vietnamese, my country, both of my country. Yes, but Australia is my home now. Yeah. I love it here too, but I love Australia. I love Australia. So, our good luck. See who wins, okay? Cross the finger. Yeah.
The overall winner is my aunt.
Cooking is giving love. When you love somebody, you care for them, you cook for them. Yeah, that's very, very important. Very important. That's why I love cooking. That's it. And my hobbies. Yeah, I enjoy it so much.
I hope that you enjoy finding out more about Vietnam and Australia relations. From all of us, the Voice of Vietnam and ABC International, we say thank you for watching. Tạm biệt.